The Sympathizer could be the biggest Vietnamese story ever made into a series by Hollywood ever. So what does it mean for Asian male representation?
Came a long way, man. From Apocalypse Now, Full Metal Jacket. Now we got The Sympathizer, but Quantum Leap is out. Andrew, you could have played Raymond Lee in Quantum Leap as a high schooler.
I'd like to think so, but I don't know if that's true, David. What's going on?
We got to talk about it because HBO Max is dropping the series The Sympathizer. It's got Hoa Xuan De playing a North Vietnamese, South Vietnamese American spy. It's very confusing, but Robert Downey Jr. is playing a bunch of characters in it. That's dropping in a couple days. But then, Andrew, Quantum Leap, which is the first show to star like a major Asian male in a while, just got canceled. So we got some new stuff in, some old stuff out. We got to talk about Asian male representation in Hollywood. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Check out Smile Out Sauce, smileoutsauce.com. Andrew, let's get into the book, The Sympathizer by Viet Thanh Nguyen. It won a Pulitzer Prize, and now it is getting optioned into an HBO show.
Yeah, and I've heard about it for a while, guys, and now it's finally coming out on HBO. And you know HBO, man, they execute very, very well. So I think I'm looking forward to it. It is based on a book that's written by a Vietnamese author.
And guess what?
Viet Thanh Nguyen.
And is being directed by Park Chan-wook, who did Old Boy.
Oh, so you know it's got a vibe, and I think I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how I'm going to watch it because I don't have HBO. But anyways, that is something I do support because we always say, like, Vietnamese got stories, man. Now, whether this is a fictional story, so it's not necessarily based in true, like, events, but ultimately there needs to be more Vietnamese stories out there. Like, Vietnamese people, they got stories, so just let's make some more.
Right. So the character in The Sympathizer is half French, half Vietnamese. He joins the South Vietnamese forces and joins the American government, almost working for the CIA in America. But the whole time, he's supposed to be loyal to the Viet Cong secretly. So he's like a double agent, like a triple agent.
So in the book, a lot of people point out that this guy is neither like the good guy or bad guy. It's just kind of a book about war and how terrible war is. But I don't know, maybe the show will kind of play it a little bit differently. Maybe he'll be like a good bad guy, or maybe he'll start on the wrong side of history and then comes over or doesn't. I don't know how American-centric this story is going to end up being.
Yeah, I watched some of the interviews with Viet Thanh Nguyen, and he was basically like, man, I'm just trying to show the complexities outside of an American narrative.
Right. And I think that's good to show because ultimately there are multiple sides to things. And
he said it was really hard to get it made originally because so much of the Sympathizer on HBO is in Vietnamese. But he said that once, culture changes, of course, post-COVID and post a lot of things, sort of the market opened up.
Oh, that's pretty dope. So actually a lot of the show is going to be in Vietnamese. That's really cool.
Right. I think it's really dope to see, like, I guess masculine Asian guys getting on the character Hoa Xuan De. He's got a lot of sides to him. And I just feel like, man, it's just something that I think everybody can get behind. And I'm really interested to see it. Right now I'm watching Shogun. I really enjoyed other stuff on Netflix, the detective Joe Pilho, R.I.P. to him. And as far as Quantum Leap goes, just to switch gears real quick before we get into the comment section, did you watch that?
No, I did not watch Quantum Leap. They had 2 seasons. That Asian dude at the front, I remember...
Raymond Lee replaced Scott Bakula in the remix.
Yeah,
right?
And I remember seeing Raymond in Top Gun Maverick. He was in there as one of the fighter pilots, but... ultimately, from what I could see, and I watched some clips of it, it didn't look like a great show. I'm not going to blame it on him. I think the writing is a huge part of it.
You mean saying it didn't look like a great show?
It did not look like a good show. It did not look compelling, and maybe the acting didn't look compelling either. But I will say this about supporting shows like Quantum Leap, even though there's an Asian guy at the front. First of all, I think if you could watch it on TV, you should have given it a shot. But for me at this point, blindly supporting Asian dudes in a role, especially if you don't know the Asian guy or you don't really know their personality, you don't know what they stand for, it's not as important to me as it is to support some type of Asian brand or other Asian male creators. There's a lot of Asian dudes out there doing stuff outside of Hollywood. I'm not saying don't support Quantum Leap, and obviously it's being canceled now because it didn't get the views, but I'm saying, like, I didn't feel the need because obviously I support a lot of other Asian people doing things, period.
Right. Because there was some posts on Reddit being like, oh, shit, if Asian guys got behind Quantum Leap to make sure, but honestly, even if all Asian guys watched it, it's not like it was going to push it over the the edge and be the critical mass, that depended on the middle America market and people sort of relating to the redux of it. Somebody said, I'm super excited for the Sympathizer. It's probably going to be very controversial, especially in the Vietnamese American community, because, Andrew, the author sort of talks about how both sides did bad and did good. And that's politically charged, right? Yeah, I think that, man, from what I know about the Vietnamese American community, and you guys can leave comment sections, I think the younger generation is trying to get into the nuance of it and get away from the tribalism from the older generations. You know what I mean?
Just like the North versus South, Bucky versus Nam.
Like, get it, you know, because I get it. I think the old people are going to be legitimately, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see the think pieces that arise once it drops and then the old people react to it. Some people said, you know, they got the great Korean director Park Chan-wook to do it. So basically, it's sort of like a mix. Andrew, you're getting Robert Downey Jr. to back the Sympathizer. You're getting the Korean guy from Old Boy to direct it stylistically, but then you're getting the Vietnamese story. It does sound like a winning combination.
It sounds good.
Let's get into the Quantum Leap. Somebody said, man, it was just kind of forgettable. I didn't even know they had it. I just think that a lot of people had a really hard time caring about characters in the new show. And somebody said, man, that's the story of all Asian guys that are kind of bland in America.
Yeah, so my thing about Quantum Leap is that from the clips that I mean, I didn't watch the show, so obviously it wasn't just the main character's fault. You know, I don't want to put it all on the Asian guy. Of course, why would I want to throw an Asian dude
Didn't he look like
bus?
Randall Park?
He looked like I guess, slightly more model version of Randall Park. Apparently, David, you said he's half white in person. Like that's a
no.
actor.
The actor from The Sympathizer is.
Oh, I thought you said from Quantum Leap. That's what we had the confusion about. Anyways, that makes more sense. But I was gonna say this character, he didn't. It might have not been the right pick, and maybe there was no perfect way to pull off Quantum Leap because there's probably multiple characters that people didn't really attach themselves to, or maybe people are just over this series. Like, they're just not trying to watch Quantum Leap Redux again.
Yeah, I think that he was put in a position to kind of fail, but I do think that this character actor, it's like, here's how I'll say it. A couple years ago with Crazy Rich Asians and then everything that was Asian was getting greenlit, but I think people are finding the limitations. If somebody's not big within their own community like Simu, and somebody is not interesting enough to the mainstream middle America audiences, this show has no legs to stand on. Because they're not big in the AZN world or like the Asian internet world like Simu and, you know, even Aquafina, like a friend of ours from the community, and then you're not connecting with mainstream audiences either. You need both. Yeah, or at least one of them.
If I was going to give a note to these producers, like if you're going to want, and you're like, yo, we could be really progressive here and put an Asian face in there, you should really pick one that is familiar with Asian people, that Asians actually care about, that has even some sort of personality or following within the community, because ultimately, that's why, I mean, unless they're a amazing actor, which very, very few people are, I'm like, I don't know how they're going to pull it off, you know, because we want to support people who we know come from a similar place or also care about the community.
Right. A lot of people were talking about in the comment section, it took black people a very long time to get past the stereotypical narratives, whether it was hood movies or like just white people perceiving black people a certain way. Now, finally, you've got Ryan Coogler, Jordan Peele, and Donald Glover making pieces like Atlanta in 2024. Yeah. So basically, somebody's like saying that the Asians are just not at that arc yet where they're getting like this modern, nuanced representation.
Yeah, but I think we're getting there. I mean, that's cool. I mean, the fact that Quantum Leap even went to 2 seasons, you know, and the fact that the Sympathizer they're gonna speak a lot of Vietnamese in that movie, and is about the Vietnamese War, and it's on HBO. So, I mean, you know, HBO does all the cool shows.
Yeah, I would say that Hoa Xuan De is very Asian looking for a guy who's half white. I'll say this, last but not least, somebody said, man, with this failure, it just gives more ammunition for Hollywood to never give more leading roles to masculine Asian guys. Do you think that that's true? Like, people will look at this like, well, failed. I told you, this whole thing where we were trying to cram everybody wasn't getting represented into a piece, and we threw Quantum Leap with it. It failed.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Simu got a look at that show and got asked if he wanted to do it, and he was probably like, yo, I got to make movies. You know what I mean? So I think that at the end of the day, Yeah, it does hurt, but I think we're going to have our chances, man. People are not that dumb.
I always say this, man, and this is my final takeaway. Everything is like candles, and you might be in the back of the club line. You got to let the front of the club line in. I would say this. For a while, it was only nerdy Asian guy characters, right? Funny characters with fob accents. Then you've got sort of bland, non-racial characters like Raymond Lee and Quantum Leap, where him being Asian like almost didn't even play into the story at all. Then you got masculine Hoppa guys. That's going to be more like the guy from Warrior, Koji Sakai, Hoa Schwanda, Henry Golding. So then eventually what I'm saying is all the candles lead to masculine full Asian guys that don't do Kung Fu, but we're just not there yet. So let the candles burn, I'm saying, but hopefully they burn quicker than later.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, let us know what you think in the comment section below. Until next time, we're the Hop Hop Boys. We out.
Peace.